Jon and I actually went to college together. We've known each other since we were 18 years old. But we never dated when we were in college. We ended up reconnecting at a wedding a few years after college, a very good friend's wedding where Jon was the best man and I was a guest.
1995. And Beth had just come back from Costa Rica.
That's
and
right.
Was tanned and toned.
We had a very long bicoastal relationship. And
it's a year and a half. It wasn't that long. It was a year and a half.
And I moved to Los Angeles in 1997, just right after we got married. I wouldn't move before we got married.
No ring, no bring.
My grandparents were Holocaust survivors, so I've known about the Holocaust ever since I was a little girl, for as long as I could remember.
I think my interest in the Holocaust stems to my Hebrew school carpool when I was about 9 years old. And one of my friends, Greg Sigler, had a father who was an Auschwitz survivor. And I remember him talking to us. As part of Hebrew school, he would come in and do a talk to the kids. So from about age 8 or 9 or 10, I was around it. My bar mitzvah speech was about Simon Wiesenthal and the hunt for Nazi war criminals, which, I mean, what other 13-year-old doesn't talk about that at their bar mitzvah? Seems a no-brainer. I first got involved with the museum when I was working on a film called Swimming in Auschwitz, and I was doing interviews with 18 different survivors in LA. One of the survivors was involved with the museum, and we used it for our interview. And from that point on, the museum was so forthcoming with archival images and looking at tape testimony.
He introduced me to the director of the museum at the time, this woman, Rachel Jagoda. Because of my family history, it just seemed like a natural fit, and I was very interested in, becoming part of the organization. My grandparents passed away a few years ago. The survivors are a dying generation, and they're not going to be around. And when you don't hear the story firsthand anymore, that's going to be a big change. You could never stop learning about the Holocaust. There's so much to learn, and every time you go to the museum, you'll learn something new.
Learning about the Holocaust is putting puzzle pieces together. Every time you speak to a survivor, every time you read a book or look at a photograph, you add a piece to your puzzle. And the more pieces we can create, the better vision we're going to have of what actually happened.
Our next biggest job is to get the word out, to bring people to the museum, because there's no doubt that once they get there, they will get so much out of it.
People always ask me, what have I learned about working in Holocaust education, making films? And I have to say the main thing that I've really learned is that you don't go through life alone. You do not survive this life by yourself. That if you don't have your support system, you don't have people around you, you will not make it. The other thing I've learned is don't expect to get rich making Holocaust documentaries.
Really?
I've learned that.
Bummer.
Yeah.